Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Boruto, Naruto Next Generations, Chapter 61. When we last left our heroes, we opened with, I believe, Sai, Shikamaru, and Ibiki sort of running over what Amado had told them about Code's abilities, specifically his leaving claw marks that allow him to teleport, similar to the fourth Hokage's jutsu. Specifically, there are no claw marks in the village, but there are 4 outside the village. So Code sort of has a way to near the village very easily. Then we cut to Sumire and Amado, as Sumire continued to press Amado as to what the hell he wants with Kawaki. Amado is kind of vague. There's some personal matter he wants Kawaki to help him with once he has his karma back. He's also working on something in a big tube that Katasuke has approved, but it seems to be a person, a clone, or something. I don't know. We then got some more intrigue back with Code and Ada. Ada's clearly hiding some things from Code. Don't quite know what that all's about. She specifically hides Daimon explaining his abilities to Code. But then after that, we get the good part of last chapter, as Kawaki contemplates leaving the village, thinking that he has no place in it. The Jigen was right on that one point. And Naruto shuts him down. You are my son, and you are a part of this village. And literally carries him back to the Uzumaki household. They finally have a big welcoming party. It was real good. Kawaki got a forehead protector. It was sweet. It was wonderful. It was the best part of the chapter by far. So with all that being said, let's dive right on into Chapter 61, Madness. Our picture here is of Amado kind of backed against a brick wall, lighting a cigarette. It's a pretty cool looking page there. Anyway, we open on Boruto, Kawaki, Shikadai, and Inojin with some trading cards, it looks like. Boruto is, as usual, opening a pack of cards. Alright, here goes. Please give me Old Man Sasuke. Yeah! And he opens them up, and it's Shino. He just throws the cards in the air. Damn it! And Shikadai looks at him, and kaboom. And Inojin laughs. You know, they may just be playing cards, but you shouldn't curse out your mentor, And Boruto counters, I'm cussing my crappier than crap luck, okay? Damn it! And I think that damn it is somewhere else, because Kawaki looks away after that damn it is spoken. Or no, it's a completely different thing. He's just noting, Kawaki is noting his, the shinobi watching him, who's just sort of leaning on a tree, not subtle at all, not very ninja-like, just eyeing Kawaki. And Boruto and Inojin note it too. And Boruto says, Gah, thank you for your hard work. And Inojin comments, he's not even bothering to hide. But Shikadai tells them, go easy on them. We have no clue when or where the enemy will attack. It's thanks to them watching us It's thanks to them watching us that you can be carefree and go down in flames in X cards. Don't know why that gave me so much trouble. But yeah, Shikadai, we see kind of the Shikamaru in Shikadai. You know, Shikamaru is always a bit more security focused than Naruto. You know, he's the realist to Naruto's idealist. You kind of see that reflected in their sons. Not to the same extent. Shikadai is in no way saying, you know, that kicking Kawaki out would be a good thing. As we saw back in 58, or 59, I think, 2 chapters ago. I know that much. 2 chapters ago, when Shikadai was like, people don't trust you, but, like, that's on them. You are part of this village. Shikadai values Kawaki as a part of the Leaf Village, but he still is sort of, like, you know, it's because they're watching us that we can be trusted. That we know, let me rephrase. It's because they're watching us that we're not sticking Kawaki away somewhere for him to be safe. Kawaki can wander around because if anything happens, we have all these guards. So yeah, sort of the counter between Boruto and Shikadai, echoed in Naruto and Shikamaru, or echoed from Naruto and Shikamaru. Anyway, Boruto kind of grimaces. I know that, but being watched 24/7 like this is starting to stress me out. And Kawaki, like, looks at him and snarks, yeah, right. You've been sleeping like a baby every night with an idiotic look on your face. And Boruto snaps, how dare you insult my sleeping face? And Shikadai laughs, I can just see it. And Boruto just goes off some more. Besides, this entire village is protected by a super strong sensory net, right? So why the need for direct surveillance? And so here's the thing of the anime, comparing the anime to the manga, is that the anime just had this episode where, Inoshika Cho and Kakashi chased after Koji, who had somehow sneaked in through the security net. It's a little bit unclear if A, that happened in manga canon, and B, what they know about it at this point. Like, do they know that do they know that the person who snuck into the village, if they ever found out about it in manga canon, is, the same person who fought Jigen that Naruto, Sasuke, and Amado all watched? And so are they still kind of on edge that the sensory net can be broken? That's what I'm not quite sure about. Either way, Kawaki has apparently never heard of the sensory net. Sensory net? What's that? And Inojin looks at him, a barrier around the village. It automatically checks everyone coming in or going out of Konoha. And Kawaki sort of takes that in. But how? And Shikadai responds, chakra are like fingerprints. No two are identical. So the net compares chakra against the database and decides if the individual is known or not. Which I'm assuming is I don't know why that sort of made me want to comment something. Maybe my dog just kind of jumped up, and so I kind of triggered a comment mode in me. Either way, moving on. I don't have anything to comment on that beyond more thinking about Koji, I guess. Anyway, Shikadai continues, and the visitor's a newcomer. The sensory unit in HQ can determine if they're an enemy, like with Delta and Ishiki. And Boruto chimes in, yup, and any entering enemy is caught immediately. That's why direct surveillance is redundant and unnecessary. And Inojin kind of counters, but Boruto, it's not like the sensory net is spying on every one of us all the time. First off, that would be a violation of privacy. And Shikadai kind of chimes in, the system usually only checks your chakra when you enter the village, since the purpose is only to determine who the person is. So it's a bit of this isn't quite the, privacy scandal it could be. Kawaki then says, so then, it can detect the infiltration of a foe, but dealing with them is a whole separate issue. The thing that's kind of coming to mind here to me though, is Code. Because if Code could get his claws in the village, then he can bypass the sensory net altogether. But he can't do that, I don't think, without being inside the sensory net. Unless he could set up a claw from right outside the village. And then run away and then come back. Maybe that wouldn't get detected. I'm not quite clear on how all that works. Maybe. Things to keep in mind. The fact that Code can enter the village without entering it, and the fact the big thing about the net is, it can pick up people before they enter the village, or as they're entering the village, seems to be an important problem. But let's just sort of keep that in the back of our mind for now. Anyway, Boruto chimes in, right, I see your point. And then he thinks, wait a sec, does that mean if Code were to show up right now, that guy'd face off against him? And we see the guy who I think kind of hears Boruto mocking him. He doesn't look capable at all. But Inojin chimes in, he's likely a sensory type shinobi. If this Code shows up, Lord 7th or Master Sasuke would probably fight him. I think your watchers are there to swiftly relay you and your enemy's location. Of course, Naruto and Sasuke are not exactly equipped for that right now, as they are Sans, Kurama, and the Rinnegan. But yeah. I think the more important point to what they're actually trying to convey, because I don't know if Inojin and Shikadai in particular know about the claws yet, is that they could know that Code is here, but the net couldn't actually do anything about it. And so that's why this guy is here, so that Naruto and Sasuke know exactly where Boruto and Kawaki are if Code shows up. But anyway, Boruto sort of listens in on that, and then just breaks down, what about my privacy? I want it back! And Shikadai looks, isn't your personal safety more important? So there is, of course, a big debate in the real world about privacy versus safety. That I want to sort of point out, Boruto is very, very lightly scratching at, not really diving into, but, I see it, we all see it. And let's not really dive into it, because I don't think this is really asking us to ask those kinds of deep questions. Either way, Kawaki's kind of listens in on all this. And then he flashes back to what Amado said. about Naruto versus Code. I suspect he'd die one-on-one versus Code. It certainly won't go the way it did with Delta. You know that deep down. And Kawaki is very nervous. Don't forget, at the end of last chapter, he sort of turned down the idea of the new karma that would not lead to possession, but he said he still had one idea left as to how he could protect the seventh. And I don't quite know what that is. I don't think we have any way of knowing what that is, but it's definitely something to keep in mind going forward. Anyway, Inojin then chimes in, Boruto's privacy aside, Konoha's sensory unit, starting with my Yamanaka clan, is super exceptional. So you can relax. Unless the enemy is able to erase their chakra signature, any movement inside Konoha won't be missed. Okay, here are some things I just kind of thought about. Ada and Daimon. Because so far, the things you know about Ada is her charm ability and her future, or was it future sight or like all-seeing present sight? But we also know she has Code is theorizing she has some mysterious other ability that she's keeping secret from Code. We don't know what that is. We have no idea what that could possibly be right now. But it's something, and maybe it's related to erasing their chakra signature. With Daimon, though, he can sort of... What would happen if Daimon entered the net? Would it detect him, or would it detect the people trying to detect him? That's something to think about. Because I could see it... Because we learned last month that his sort of reflection ability is involuntary. And I don't quite know how that works with sensing. So I imagine we'll see that before the arc is over. I don't think, Kishimoto and Ikemoto and Kodachi would spend 7 pages talking about this fucking sensory net if it was not going to be very important this arc. Anyway, Boruto sort of brushes all that aside. You just don't get it. Pulling the wrong card is bad enough. But then there's the pain of having every single moment of your life witnessed by strange older men. Let's not dive too deep into that one, please. And Boruto goes back to the shopkeep. Gah! Ma'am, give me another pack. Sure thing. And Shikamaru just looks at him. Yeesh, give up already. And we see Kawaki sort of thinking, specifically on what Inojin said that I pointed out earlier. Erase one's chakra signature. Huh. And we see a tree outside the village, very similar to the tree Delta and Koji stood on, gazing at the village way back when. But we're actually seeing some more of the investigation for the claw marks. We see one is right on the ground of the outer wall of the village. Those are the claw marks. Don't get too close. And it's some guy, I don't think we know this guy, with Sasuke, because he could leap out of there whenever he wants. Stay this far back, and we see 2 other guys are in this squad with Sasuke, and Sasuke chimes in. I've been told about his abilities already. Anything since the watch was started? And a guy for a second I thought was Inoichi, but he's like super dead, so it's not Inoichi, says, no, 10 days of nothing. Makes me wonder if we should even bother. That's exactly what they want you to do, not gonna lie. And Sasuke sort of looks at him, and then walks right past him. The man calls, hey Uchiha, what are you doing? Get back here. And Sasuke just walks over and kneels in front of the claw looking at it, just sort of staring. And then he looks around, and the man keeps calling, are you deaf? What the heck? And Sasuke stands up. He won't emerge here, I suspect. Okay. How does he know that? Because he shouldn't have, I was about to say he shouldn't have access to any space-time ninjutsu because of the lack of a Rinnegan. But I think last month they said that it wasn't even related to space-time ninjutsu, so I have no idea why he thinks that. But the guy is just as confused as I am. What? How do you know that? I have no proof. It's simply that if I were him, I'd choose a different spot. That's all. Okay, so it's more of a guess than anything. And the man snaps, no proof? Then it ain't relevant. Give me a break. And Sasuke kind of agrees. Feel free to disregard my opinion, especially since I have no authority here. I'll get going. Sorry to bother you. And the man calls out again, hey, hold on. Say you're right. What should we do? And Sasuke looks back at them. Shikamaru or Sai decided you should watch this place, no? And carry on as ordered. Huh? But... And Sasuke just sort of turns away and says, just keep doing your job, as I am. And he jumps away, off into the sky. The man watches in shock. And he says to his teammates, "What's his problem? Stirring up trouble." But the teammate is just watching him. He's so cool. Alright. Yeah, I can see that, I guess. Anyway, back at the Hokage mansion, we come to Shikamaru, who's, I guess, picked up a smoking habit. I don't remember seeing that before. Besides, between Asuma and Hidan's deaths. But we see him smoking a cigarette on the roof. I see. Nah, it's fine. Let Sasuke do his thing. Nothing at the other 3 spots either? Yeah, got it. Keep me posted. I'm guessing he's talking to the guy Sasuke just left, and someone has arrived. I can't quite tell who it is. Maybe it's Sai? I don't quite recognize those pants. But whoever it is asks, "Rough going?" Oh no, it's Amado. Code has a fairly cautious nature for sure, but he's not particularly bright. I'm surprised, honestly. I really didn't expect you all to have so much trouble. And Shikamaru sort of sighs, "Sorry to be a bunch of incompetents. You came all the way up here to complain?" And Amado pulls out a cigarette and responds, "I wanted some fresh air. Don't get defensive." And Shikamaru, with the cigarette in his mouth, says, "Hold it right there. Smoking's prohibited here. Don't get carried away." And Amado just looks at him like, "Are you shitting me right now?" as he puts his lighter back. And then a little bit later, Shikamaru picks up where they left off. "Didn't expect, It's funny to hear that come out of your mouth. Because even now, I still think everything's proceeding exactly according to some master script you wrote." So we're seeing again that sort of suspicion on Amado that Sumire sort of exemplified earlier, and her suspicions weren't exactly cleared up by Amado earlier. But Shikamaru is a much more powerful and much more authoritative figure than Sumire, and maybe he'll get some different answers than she did. But Amado counters, "Don't be ridiculous. It's been a chain of surprises that I never would have guessed. That I never would have guessed half a year ago, especially being in Konoha's tender care." So here's a question about that: is that maybe when the anime next week is getting to Amado's defection, and that will sort of remind me. Maybe this was an answer in the past, I just kind of forgot. But what did Amado think would happen? Because if the whole time he and Koji were plotting this betrayal of Ishiki, what did he think would happen? Was his initial plan, at some point, as soon as Ishiki is weak, Koji comes in and finishes the job? That doesn't really work. That didn't work. And so, if he hadn't decided to come to the Leaf Village to Kawaki, would he have just, kind of died when Koji lost? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I mean, of course, Amado's true goals, his actual master plan, is still kind of shrouded in mystery, and we probably aren't quite supposed to know yet. But I am very curious what exactly is going on with him. Anyway, especially being Konoha's tender care. But Kawaki was the most unexpected. I didn't think he'd become so devoted to Lord Hokage. The core motivation behind all of his actions now is Lord Hokage. Which, yeah, is definitely not what anyone who saw Kawaki at the beginning would have expected. Even at the beginning of his role on this series. But anyway, Amado continues, "Perhaps it's because he hasn't really known parental love, but if it's for Lord Hokage, he likely won't balk at paying any price." And Shikamaru kind of counters, "Seems beyond a simple father complex. Way more intense." And Amado responds, "That's human love for you. It appears like madness. In fact, there isn't a clear line separating the two." And Shikamaru looks at him and grumbles, "I'm having trouble trusting anything you say, Mr. Genius Scientist. My cigarette doesn't even taste good with you around." And then he kind of goes on, "Speaking of madness, Code's veneration of Otsutsuki Ishiki as a god. I don't know if it approaches fanaticism, but considering he hasn't shown up after this long, is it possible he's gotten depressed and no longer has any intention of exacting revenge against Konoha? Here's a question that I haven't really thought to ask yet, is how much time has it been? Because it's only been 6 chapters since Ishiki died. He died in 55, we're now in 61. But has it been weeks, months since Ishiki died? I mean, I guess, my concern is what's going on with the spread of Boruto's karma, and I guess with the pills that Amado has given him, and maybe also just not having to use his karma that often, with Code kind of out of the picture for the moment. he hasn't really, like, maybe it's the activation that helps it spread, along with the medicine stopping the spread, even if it was being activated. But yeah, it's sort of, the problem here is we don't know how much time has passed. We also, though, we know that Shikamaru was wrong. He hasn't gotten depressed and has given up. He's been marshaling his forces. At least he has two people besides himself and Bug, I guess. Anyway, Amado laughs. How optimistic, especially for you. That's fair. That's fair. Shikamaru is not the optimistic one. Though it would be great if true. Right? Well, it ain't likely. But that kind of surprise would be most welcome. And then we come back to the Uzumaki household. Kawaki is walking downstairs with something in his hands. Looks like a stack of books. I don't really know why. And he looks over, and he sees the family just kind of hanging out, without Himawari for some reason. Boruto's playing some game. Hinata and Naruto are sitting at the table watching, like, what looks like a soap opera? But why? Why do you have to go? It's gotta be me. I'm sorry. And we see Hinata's kind of, like, tearing up at this drama. And Boruto sort of is frustrated at his game. Yeah! Aw, damn it. And Naruto's kind of nodding off, asleep. Himawari's asleep in a room somewhere. And Kawaki opens the door and calls out to the family. I'm taking out the trash. This bundle of magazines. And Hinata looks at him. Oh, this late? Can it wait until morning? And then Kawaki responds, I'll forget. How far out is their trash can? Is it really like a walk? I think it would be like just outside their door, but I guess we've never really seen a trash can outside their house. Never really thought to look for a trash can outside their house. I don't know. Haven't really thought about it that hard. But Boruto watches him go, kind of intrigued. And, I doubt we'd be getting this scene if something weren't about to happen when he goes outside. We see his watcher kind of on the power line pole, and kind of shocked that Kawaki has walked out of the house. And he calls on his intercom, this is Nishi. Kawaki's left the house. And Kawaki notices Nishi, whether just noticing him there or noticing him talking, it's a little bit unclear. But he doesn't say anything, and he just goes off. Maybe to the trash can? Maybe just he's running off? It's a little bit unclear. I hope he's not running away. After last month's chapter, he better not be fucking running away. But no, he just drops the magazines on the ground. He looks up at Nishi, and he jumps back into the yard, specifically into either that little tiny tree or a bush on the ground, and just kind of sits there. Oh, I think I know what he's doing. I think he's doing a shadow clone jutsu. That's why he's diving into the bush to sort of use the jutsu and then sneak off. He makes it look like he just accidentally fell into the bush, and then he comes out kind of angry. But that's a shadow clone. I know it. And he says, gah! And he kind of slaps the leaves off himself. Comes back inside, and Nishi looks. He's gone back in. All clear. But we still see that rustling in the tree. Kawaki is still in there. And Boruto notices the door opening and looks up, huh? And then we see Kawaki, or the clone, inside the door, kind of looks around. Boruto enters into the little entranceway, watches him walk up the stairs, and then calls out, hey, Kawaki, you okay? And Kawaki looks at him and keeps walking. I'm tired. Can we talk tomorrow? Alright, Kawaki's doing something, and I hope it does not involve him reneging on all that kindness the family showed him last chapter. I'd be very mad. And Boruto kind of shocked there. What the? And he looks at the front door. Something's not quite right. And we see the tree. The tree starts to rustle, because that's where the real Kawaki is. What did I tell ya? And he thinks, wait, I sense Kawaki's presence from outside the house. It's a little weird, though, that would work. Like, if Boruto can sense Kawaki's presence, it'll be really weird if Nishi, who's supposedly a sensor ninja, cannot instantly pick up on what's going on here. Like, maybe Nishi would be fooled for a second when the clone and the real body are still right next to each other, but as soon as Kawaki tries to run away, Nishi has to catch on, right? But it seems to be working, because Nishi says, sensing both Boruto and Kawaki's chakras inside the house. Still all clear. Continuing surveillance. And Kawaki then jumps out of the tree. Maybe Nishi is just kind of focusing his sensory abilities on the house, and so he's not really thinking to look outside. Either way, it's really... He's not good at this thing. He is not a great choice for this job if Kawaki gets away here. Ninjas should be, like, thinking outside the box, expecting tricks and deceptions. And this is kind of a bad showing for him. But yeah, Kawaki starts to kind of run away. But Boruto's caught up onto him. No mistake, he's outside right now. Then that Kawaki just went upstairs. A shadow clone? And the shadow clone sort of sits there thinking. So the real Kawaki runs through the town. Just mad dash. As Boruto continues to sense him. He's heading farther and farther away. Damn it, what's he up to? And yeah, I got no idea where he's going. And Boruto sort of runs out. You gotta be kidding me. No matter the reason, if he's found out, the surveillance is gonna get even tighter. Which is, that could be a selfish thing for Boruto. He's just tired of all of this surveillance. But also, I imagine at least it's somewhat actual compassion. And he runs out the door. I gotta drag him back. And he looks up, and he sees Nishi, who has not caught on to them at all. Ugh, the sensory unit watcher. And then he thinks, oh, wait a sec. And he thinks, isn't he monitoring both our chakras? So how'd Kawaki get past him? Wait, is this going to tie back to the erasing the chakra signature? Has Kawaki done that somehow? Can he do that? How would he do that? Is that part of his... somehow tied up with his scientific ninja tools? I don't know. Nishi reports, no Boruto's come outside. Kawaki's still within. And then Boruto hears that. What? The Kawaki inside's a shadow clone. The one moving away is the real deal. The Watcher's only detecting the shadow clone's chakra? No way. What's going on? And then he thinks back to what Inojin said at the beginning of the chapter. So you can relax. Unless the enemy is able to erase their chakra signature, any movement inside Konoha won't be missed. And Boruto realizes what's happened. He's erased his chakra signature? I hope this better fucking not lead to Kawaki running away anyway. After everything that happened last chapter with, him being reassured that he has his place in the village, he's a member of this family, I'd be so fucking mad if he ran away. But we see Ada, who has some new pattern in her eye. What looks like a black crescent moon appears in her eye, which might be some other... Actually, that might be her Senrigan. She can see things. And maybe that sight is not really tied up in chakra signature. As Ada says, Code, Kawaki's on the move. He's headed somewhere by himself. And Code kind of looks at her shocked. What? Aren't there people watching him? How'd he lose them? And Ada tells him he's nulling his chakra signature. It's a trick that comes naturally to all Otsutsuki, but he shouldn't have been aware of it yet. Okay, so that's an Otsutsuki thing. That's new, right? We haven't already learned that in the past, have we? That feels like new information to me. But maybe it happened once before. If it was, though, I think Ishiki would have done it when he arrived, right? When he arrived in the Leaf Village to kind of take Kawaki, he would have hidden his chakra signature. Or maybe he decided at that point it wasn't really worth it, that they were already going to be on the lookout for him anyway, and he wasn't going to sneak in, and he didn't need to sneak in. Maybe, I don't really know. Either way, he shouldn't have been aware of it yet. Maybe it was instinctive. Just like how a foal is able to get up on its own right after being born. And that's an interesting bit, though, because it definitely wasn't. Kawaki made this... he must have known that Nishi would sense where he was going. He... picked up on that knowledge from Inojin and was like, if I can erase my chakra signature, I can get away. And then he had the plan to do that. So it wasn't instinctive. He must have somehow figured it out. Either way, Code is ready to go. I don't know his motives, but if he's alone, I can't let this perfect chance slip by. And we see one of the trees where he has left his claw marks. Code emerges, ready to capture Kawaki. And we see he sort of brings a hand with the claw mark up to his mouth. And, he points his mouth. He brings his mouth through a claw mark he's left on Ada. Guide me, Ada. Where is he? And Ada's just kind of creeped out by it. Ugh, gross. And Kawaki jumps outside of the village. What are you doing, you idiot? He lands on the ground. And Nishi is still there. Boruto's still in the front yard. Gah, I can't go after Kawaki like this. The Watcher will catch me. And then he runs up the stairs towards Kawaki's room. But how the heck did he manage to erase his chakra? He slams open the door, and Kawaki is just lying there. And Boruto berates him. I know you're a doppelganger. What are you thinking? And Kawaki tells him, keep your voice down. It'll be trouble if they find out. Yeah, that's not the problem here. You're already in trouble. Code is on the way. I mean, I guess he doesn't know about Ada, so he doesn't know how well equipped Code is to finding him. But he's fucked. He has played himself. And Boruto continues, and you erase the chakra signature of the real you? How do you do? And then he stops. And Kawaki kind of seems to sort of jolt for a sec. And Boruto looks around. I think he sensed Code. How come I can tell where the real you is? Oh, that's the problem. If he has no chakra signature, they're resonating even now? But that shouldn't quite work, because he doesn't have the... Maybe he can just send Otsutsuki presences, because he's so close to being an Otsutsuki. But would that mean that the pills aren't working like they should be? I don't know. There's definitely something important going on there. Either way, Kawaki is running through the trees, and he thinks, damn it, Boruto. It's probably because he's Otsutsuki too, due to our affinity. He's sensing me via something like wave patterns. And we see Code just sitting there, getting info from Ada, as Ada tells him, Kawaki's outside the village, heading due west. I wonder why. Oh, we see that her ear is attached, or no, that's Code's ear. He sort of held the claw up to his ear, and now it's on the other side. Heading due west. I wonder why. And Code just kind of grins. Heh, whatever it is. I'll just ask him directly. To be continued. Okay, so, you better have a good fucking explanation for this, Kishimoto. There better be a good fucking reason that Kawaki is running away. It better not be the same bullshit of I don't belong that Naruto sort of, I thought, had gotten out of him last chapter. Better not come up again, because I thought last chapter, like, cleared my worries, that Kishimoto had come on board as the writer to do something really stupid with Kawaki. And someone in the comments pointed out that I was like a little bit too paranoid, and by the end of that chapter I kind of agreed. And then we get shit like this. And I'm like, Kishimoto, what are you doing? Don't fucking send us down this trail. Don't make Kawaki abandon the village because he doesn't belong when everyone is telling him he belongs over and over and over again. Let them be happy. Let them be happy. So the most important thing to whether I think this is a good chapter in retrospect is whatever explanation we get for why Kawaki left. You know, even if this coming confrontation with Code and Kawaki is good, it still could be a contrived setup if Kawaki is just leaving because he'll never belong or whatever. Let that plotline die, please. But accepting that, this chapter is still pretty good. There's a lot of interesting setup. It's a lot of setup. We spend like the first quarter of the chapter sort of setting up the net, and I was not expecting the net plotline to go where it went. I thought that would be, you know, tied into how Code and or Daimon could sneak in, specifically Daimon with his reflection ability, and maybe whatever secret ability Ada has. I was not expecting that to be Otsutsuki can null their chakra signature, thereby letting Kawaki sneak out. And to be fair, I don't think I could have suspected that, because I don't think that had ever been set up. It might have been. I might have to, like, go through some of the older content to see if that was ever even implied. But yeah, it was a good bait and switch. I was really expecting that the whole discussion about the chakra net to tie in with infiltrating the village, not leaving the village. And then we get some just Sasuke sort of goes around and is kind of cryptic and doesn't think that one of the claw marks is going to be Code's actual entry point. we get more sort of theorizing about Amado. Shikamaru is joining the pretty distrustful of Amado squad with Sumire. Admittedly, very much in Shikamaru's style. He's always, especially in Boruto, been kind of the there are threats and we must be guarded against these threats kind of character. And so he is naturally suspicious of Amado. And I definitely think that Amado has some grander game that we have not seen at all. We just do not know where we're going with Amado. I want to know where Amado is coming from. I genuinely don't know what his goals even could be. I definitely don't think he's working for Code. That would make no sense. Why would he betray Ishiki to work for the Ishiki worshiper? None of that even tracks at all. How will Koji's eventual return kind of factor into Amado is another question to sort of keep in the back of your mind. But yeah, Amado's mysterious. I have no idea what his true goals are, and I really want to know. I want to know who's in the container. A lot of good stuff with Amado, but it's all sort of more foreshadowing, more sort of there's something going on here without really addressing that. And then we get to the Kawaki stuff. With Kawaki nulling his chakra signature, making a shadow clone to sort of allow him to escape for something. Again, there better be a damn good reason for this. It does lead, though, to a coming confrontation between Kawaki and Code, as Code is kind of the strongest person in the series right now, with Kurama dead and the Rinnegan out of play. So it leads to this coming conflict with Code, and to more mysteries about Kawaki. What exactly is going on with Boruto? How can he sense Kawaki? Is it just that Otsutsukification doing it? Is there something more at play? One kind of lore error, I think, unless I'm missing something here, is that as I recall, main bodies only find out what's going on with their shadow clones once the shadow clones disperse. So I don't think Kawaki should know what's happened with Boruto until his shadow clone disappears, which he hasn't yet, as far as I can tell. But that's really a minor thing. It's not really that... It doesn't matter that much in the end, I don't think. But yeah, we're kind of in a bad spot here. Code is on his way to Kawaki. Kawaki is alone, not strong enough to handle Code, and Boruto doesn't want to tip off Nishi. And I don't... maybe if Kawaki can figure out things that his shadow clone is doing presently, maybe that works both ways. And so Boruto will learn that Code is there, and he can tell Naruto that, or something, maybe. I don't know. Either way, chapter's a lot of setup. Some of it good, some of it I'm a little bit more cautious on, because I want to know where the hell Kishimoto is going with all this. But I can't really theorize anymore until next month. It's a little bit unclear when the next chapter is coming out, actually. It doesn't say the end of this chapter, but the Manga Plus website says it's the 18th. The Shonen Jump app says it's the 20th of September. It's I'm not sure which it will be. I'll check both times, I guess. But yeah, in the end, that's all I have to say for this chapter. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!